Meta Weekly, top 16 every single week. Bro, the meta is absolutely nuts as the main deck to beat is Dracotail, but because of that, all of the decks that were being suppressed by Droll and Lockbird as people take Droll out of their deck are now popping up again. And decks and strategies that beat Malice are also becoming more prevalent because Malice has a good matchup against Dracotail. Even to the point where some Dracotail players are reluctantly just putting Lancia into their deck just to specifically beat Malice. There's way too many good tech cards to put in your deck, not enough room to fit it all. So let's find out what's good. In addition to that, we have Runic is back. Well, you would think that Runic is not good while people are playing Malice because it will trigger cards off the top of the deck, but Iron Vecna does not care because we are comboing this up with Skystriker.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Hajime, watch as long as you can. That greatly supports these videos as we start off with a Rahu Dracotail. You should be happy that Skystriker exists. I know that's a crazy statement. A lot of people hate this deck, but there's two things that Skystriker do that you will enjoy. They're not going to interrupt your turn one because they don't play many hand traps. So you get a fully undisrupted build up your castle. And they're not going to surrender right away. They're going to actually play out the duel. You have a very good chance to build your best board and interact with the opponent. Now, Droplet may mess you up, but that's why the modern Yu-Gi-Oh decks, they have their disruption within the hand, the back row, the field, and the graveyard. So cards like Droplet and Dark World No More are definitely not as good, where early on in Master Duel, we had Drytron, everything was just on the field pretty much besides the Herald of Arc Lights, or the Herald of Orange Light, that is. Also, you had the Emancipator deck where all their monsters on the field are getting ready to get Dark World No More. Now, let's Runic tip. Get ready to search our deck for nothing as the Flame negates. How could Flame negate the tip if there's no tip on the field? I take away the tip by sending it to the graveyard, thus, no negate. Flame is not negating the effect, it's negating the card, and there's no card to negate. Come forth 0. There is a confliction with Skystriker and Runic, and that is Runic cards want to summon into the extra monster zone, and so do Skystrikers. So how do we get around that confliction? Searching for the Runic Fountain, which I believe is limited 1. Yes, it is. 0 on summon is activating to search the deck. Droplet is going to dodge the Veiler. I love this. I love cards that interact with the cards and not the effect, because then we have ways to dodge the cards. You try to negate my card, I send it to the grave. You try to negate my other card, I send it to the grave. Let's search for Widow Anchor with the Engage, and with 3 spells in the grave, we additionally draw our Call of the Grave. Runic Fountain is ready. Now, if we don't chain link block the Runic Fountain, the Ghost Bell will negate it from drawing 3. That's going to be a big deal. We are going to be getting not chain link blocked. So it's a draw 2 play here, not 3. We don't have 3. We're going to use the Shark Cannon to take the Ghost Spell, banish it, or either summon it to our side of the field. It's ours. Come to me, Bell, which now turns off the use of our Widow Anchor. We have to have no monsters to even use it. So you'd be thinking, what are we doing here? Control no monsters, but we have a Bell. Bell doesn't work like Ogre. Ogre is a hand trap that works on the field to, in response, destroy something. We also have no Runic cards to trigger the Runic Fountain. You know, this deck did get us to the top 16, but boy, are we in trouble. We do have the special maneuver, which could return at least 1. It can't even return anything. We have to have 2 Skystrikers in the graveyard to even return 1 card. Yeah, that looked bad. So a big question is, could we have chain link blocked the Runic Fountain? What is a way to chain link block it? If you activate a Runic card that summons something from the extra deck that would activate on summon, if you have another field spell in the deck, which you can't because it's limited to 1, you'd put that on the higher chain link to ensure that the fountain goes through. Does Gary activate on summon to add back a card in grave? I think it adds back a non-quick play, which we didn't have. The linkage is a good way to chain link block it. If you activate a Runic card, chain linkage, you summon the 0/0 on the higher chain link, and then the fountain goes through. So these are things you just have to be thinking about. Not that we made a mistake. All right, let's hop into it. And yeah, it's also worth mentioning, he held on to Called By and did not finger the Bell. So outside of the nuance of chain link block, and what was the finger meant for? Triple Tactics talent in response to that Maxi. I'm going to look at your hand and say goodbye to the key to Dracotail. Normal Ray against the Foolaster Maxi, it's great because Ray could go into 0. 0 could pop a card in the field. We also have Droplet. We have Linkage in addition to that. Uh-oh. This is toxic. This should not exist. It's not a core part of the deck. It's not like Branded where you know to save your Ash for this. It's just randomly hard drawn, and it doubles the power of your turn whether you're going first or second. Completely unnecessary, should not be in Dracotail. This is where I strongly advocate for the Genesis point system not being an additional game mode in Master Duel, but being the game mode. The new Master Duel balance should just be what that is to help balance the game. We have Skystriker 0 on summon searching. We're not going to use the effect to pop during the opponent's turn. If you didn't know, you can't use both effects. You can't search and pop a card in the field. We have key to Dracotail, adding a card, and then additionally fusion summoning into the Arthalion. Arthalion on summon is going to be able to target up to 2 cards from either player's field or graveyard. Malulu is going to non-target negate a monster on the field plus set a card into the back row. Goodbye to the linkage. I mean, goodbye to this duel, right? What happened? Where's our Runic engine? No Runic, we got Max Seed. You know, that was unfortunate, but we were good enough to get top 16. It's just Dracotail clapped us up. Start off with a Branded opening in the main phase. This can be not so good against a Drone Lockbird if you were to add with Alibur or even a Veiler. Veiler has become a lot more prevalent thanks to Dracotail, so it's something you do want to consider playing around. We have the tier limit Sharon summoning a Coritis. I don't think I've ever seen a Sharon summon a Coritis. What the heck? Bro, no. What are you doing? You cannot special summon except triple D monsters. Isn't this not that good? It does not apply a lingering effect. It's a continuous effect, which means we could tribute summon over it, right? Urgula, where in the Dracotail meta, people have Urgula, they have Pan to tribute summon over it. This should not be floodgating. So if you're not understanding here, the untargetable Sanctifier Dragon is going to summon the floodgate onto the opponent's side of the field where they can't special summon until they get rid of it. So with the floodgate, we're going to floodgate right away. We're not waiting. No, wait, mate. We're going to special summon a Dragonmaid before you disallow us from special summoning as soon as the triple D hits our field here. We have the Chamber Dragonmaid activating on summon to search our deck. Now, the Albaz may want to fuse with that Chamber Dragonmaid, where otherwise we didn't have a fusion summon. Come to me, fuse it up into our Lubellion. We're going to be going into a Mirror Jade very likely. Tidying, come forth. No, we're not. Just going into Lubellion and pass. And as I said, tribute summon over the triple D, which is why this is maybe not the best idea at the moment to play. Gulamel directly chaining to the Femina to pop a card in the field. Now, is the changeover going to be a good play? Well, not anymore, because there's a Light and Darkness freaking Dragon Lord to negate literally any activation, mate. That's it. What the heck? This card was relevant on release, but then people stopped wanting to play it. Interesting. Good stuff. So we did get some context on the Runic Duel and why we didn't finger the Ghost Bell. He was saving his finger for Femina, and who wouldn't, right? Max C, in response to the effect to special summon the Chamber. $12 cards in the hand. We could return a card back. We can negate a spell. We have a floodgate. We can fusion summon into a disruption. We can return a face-up card back. We have about 5 forms of disruption. Let's see if the Lady Dragonmaid gets stopped in some way. Lady, fuse with the banishment. We have the Omni Negate Shiyu, part of the 5 disruptions we accounted for. Shiyu further reborning the House Dragonmaid, which I guess will potentially have a way to pop a card in the field maybe. So I'll say 6 disruptions. Whoa! What did you just try to do to me? I don't think so. A set Albaz. You need your toggle on to stop what he's trying to do. What is he trying to do? Well, my entire field is dragon, 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 dragon. By setting the Albaz, you don't activate, you don't do anything. You set, if your opponent says they have no response to you setting, right? You go, I said, is that okay? Yeah, that's okay, you're setting, you're doing nothing. No, I'm gonna fuse your entire field. I'm gonna take my Albaz and every single dragon on your field and just put it into the graveyard. No activation, no chain link 1, just toss it in the grave. So you have to respond to the set as we're doing to tidying, return back the Albaz. All right, that did not work. Let's try instead to summon our Alibur. Alibur and Sharon. Sharon, do we have an Aqua to go into a kick out here? I don't think so. Despite drawing so many cards, we're gonna fuse with the Albaz to come forth into Libellion Searing Dragon. Alibur, come to me. Light of the Branded, I don't know what the heck that is. What? Who uses that? I think that's in a structure deck or something. Maybe I've seen that before. Remember, Courier searching for an Albaz monster, Albion Shrouded Dragon. As the Albion Shrouded's gonna send from the hand. That's an Albaz. Fallen of Albaz, because we summoned it from the hand. Whoop! What the heck? Where did our field go? It's gone. Just like that. Albion Shrouded. Special summon this card if the card you send from the deck or hand is from the hand. Light of the Branded? What the heck was that? So we branded Fusion, he tried to Dracotail Flame it, we then Light of the Branded to do what? Target a Fusion on the field in the graveyard, return to the extra deck, then you could special summon a Fallen of Albaz from your graveyard to your field, and one monster from your opponent's graveyard to their field. It is optional. We just didn't do it. We just wanted to return the Libellion back in the extra deck. Sure. Grand Grenoble is here. This only has additional attacks onto monsters, I believe. It says can attack monsters a number of times up to the number of materials used for it. And the number of materials, I believe, was 7, right? Did we use 7 monsters for this? We can attack into 7 monsters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Almost 7, sorry. Libellion into the Branded Lost. That freaks me out. The field opening up. Will you? What, mate? Is it clickable? No, it's not. Branded Fusion, the end phase. We do have our Floodgates. We have Fusion Duplication to copy the effect of Branded Fusion. We're going to use it right away in the draw phase. We are not waiting. At 400 life, this is it. Giovanni's on his final play. Libellion, discard, triple tactics talent, trigger the loss. Tiding is going to be reborn in the Shiyu back. Now, there's a ruling here. We Chainlink Wand in effect to Fusion Summon, and the Branded Loss says when you Fusion Summon, the opponent cannot respond to the summon, so clearly we cheated as we were not allowed to respond to the summon. The problem is, the duplication is not an effect to Fusion Summon, it's an effect to copy another effect. So even though the copy of the effect results in a Fusion Summon, it does not give you that Fusion Summon protection on summon. Does that make sense? Albion, Sanctifier Dragon is here. We have the Triple D Floodgate ready. The Ernest is level 7, which we could tribute summon both if we want to. And we get to steal your Floodgate monster, but I didn't really have a play anyway. Monster, I want you to know, the Floodgate had no effect on this duel, mate. It was your Max freaking C that ruined it. All right. Magistus is great. Well, sell me on it right now. This is it. The Zerora takes up your normal summon. Zerora is going to not even eat up a Veiler, but we will Max C in response to the Zerora Magistus reborning a monster from Engrave. We also have the Artemis, which will be able to search our deck as we now Rahu Dracotail. Under the effect of Max C, let's at least resolve one Arthalion, get multiple triggers engraved, get our traps set up ready for their turn. And, you know, the Magistus engine is not so good against Max C. Now, if you were to argue the same for Branded Fusion, I would disagree with you. Branded Fusion is pretty good against Max C. You trigger a Dracotail, you have a Sanctifier on the field, and your opponent just draws 1, not a big deal. We have Femina. As we now Artemis further search our deck for a Crowley. We don't want to trigger this. we're going to trigger this during the opponent's turn. So we talked about this with the new Blue Eyes White Dragon. This is if added to your hand from anywhere. And we're going to want to add this to our hand from the graveyard when we fuse with it with the Femina to then use the Arthalion to add it back. We have a Spell Negate, we have a Fusion Summon, we have the Crowley Fusion play. Branded Fusion, Flame, Negate, the card. The other Branded Fusion is no good here. Well done. And we draw into a Max C. What the hail? When this card's limited one, that's going to be much less, more frequently happening. As we go into Zorora, this will be our Monster Negate. Maxi in response to the Kitu. Malulu chaining to the Maxi to fuse outside of it. We're going to Zorora, negate the effect. Then you could optionally destroy any one card your opponent controls. It could be the monster that you are negating if you want to. That's exactly what we are destroying. We send the Artemis to the graveyard, otherwise we could send any Magistus card, including itself. We're done, right? That's it. We don't have any other play, but we have the Maxi now drawing into a Veiler. Do we want to Veiler negate them from adding back Maxi and Malulu? Yeah. I don't want them to Maxi during my freaking turn. No, thank you. Negate. Let's reborn back our Arthalion. We're out of disruption, but the Maxi has been continually drawing cards for us. It's about to go. Let's take out the Zorora. And now back to us. Once the Spenta has been spent, what does it do on the follow-up? It's no good, right? I mean, Branded Fusion, the other branded cards, also can be considered spent once you use up your Albaz and it's no longer in the deck. Do we have an actual play? Spenta? What the heck was that? I didn't know it had another effect. Spenta halves the attack of a monster the opponent controls. What the? That's trash. The Horn doesn't get to draw because the Arthalion was reborn from the graveyard. Yeah, okay. That's it. We're done. Zero disruption. And the first Branded Fusion got negated. The second Branded Fusion was the follow-up. Okay. Branded seemed a bit better there. And we also got to go first. Now, to be fair, I guess both people had Maxi, right? You Maxi me, I Maxi you. Let's go. Spenta, come to me Zorora, which will be our normal summon. Wow, over Malulu, over Lucius. Now, Kitu could, of course, be searching for a Femina instead. Finger the Femina. And now, this is it. If you're not sold on Spenta, this should convince you. Undisrupted Spenta into Zorora, into Artemis, into Special Summon, into the Borload. Borload is going to equip the Artemis. Artemis is going to be searching the deck. And then we go from here. Add the Crowley. Trigger the Crowley. Crowley on Summon. Fusion Summon with the Spenta in hand. As we now have a Was. What the heck does that do? A Was, a Waste. During the main phase, you can target one of their face-up monsters on the field. Equip this card you control to it. If this card was equipped to an opponent's monster, you then take control. Take control of a monster and Omni Negate. All right, double disruption. Now, did we Kitu already? What happened here? Did I miss out on what? Why do I feel like we're undercooked? Why didn't we Kitu add? Huh? What the heck? We're saving this for the follow-up. We want the fusion effect for when they have a body on the field. All right, take control and negate. There's a problem here. And the problem is Borload negates the activation of a card that they played 3 of, and they have multiple ways to gain access to any of those copies within the deck. So the second copy is now going to be activatable. Activation negate. Malulu. Try to fuse. Now, Malulu is not like Alban, and it actually doesn't matter. We can still fuse with the Malulu. Or no, actually we can't. Because we're not designated for the fusion. We have to fuse with the hand. But this could have denied the fusion summon. It could have. Arthalion is going to be... We're done with disruption. That's it. If we pop the equip card, we get back the Malulu. We have double into the back row. We could grab a Kitu. We can grab a Rahu. Moy should know that the Rahu is activatable. Of course he does. I'm not convinced on Magistus. This did not seem that good. Okay. Let's pan, set from the deck, the Flame. Say goodbye to the Boardlord Savage Dragon. Let's Reborn back. Our Lucius on summon, add the Femina. To battle we go, 8,800 damage. Huh. Okay. Branded's the way. Let's go. Well, don't mind if I Ash your Branded Fusion. At worst, the Branded Fusion eats an Ash, which would have been either saved for a trap or the Rahu. Let's speed this up. Goldmel pop, Femina fuse, return a monster back in attack position and negate a spell. Quadra disrupt. We have Habakiri attempting to summon for the deck, Call by the Grave, finger the Maxi, which now we're not fingering the Femina, and the Flame is negating the Call by the Grave anyway, which we possibly could have instead have Ash for to protect our Call by the Grave, but then they would have resolved a Branded Fusion. Saji gets negated by an Ash. Can you imagine if they just drew an Ash? Yeah, they just drew an Ash. Literally off of the Flame, the effect to negate the Saji. What the? Let's now follow up with a pre-prep. Come to us Mirror plus a Futsu. Let's mirror it up. Mirror. Ritual summon tributing off the Habakiri for the Murakumo. Non-target, wipe away the opposing fields. We're going to chain link block the Habakiri as we attempt to search our deck for anything we want. Femina is going to fuse into something that will immediately get destroyed. What are we... What? Murakumo just protected the fusion from being destroyed by Murakumo. How? By forcing Miru to discard a card, he discarded a card that says, if a fusion would be destroyed, I could banish this card instead. What the... Arthalion, which would not trigger on summon because it would be destroyed, is now protected by the card that we forced them to discard to protect their card from being destroyed. What? We're going to add our Ash Blossom back. Okay, let's go. And we're going to directly chain to our own card with the Gulamel. We're going to use the Prayers, which we could have used to chain link block the Gulamel, but instead just allow the Gulamel hard once returned to be used, then dodge it instead. I think that makes more sense. Reborn the Saji. We got Red Reboot. Reboot against a Purification, which if we're playing Futsu, we're playing Purification. I definitely think so. Murakumo, trigger, Reborn back, also adding the Mitsurugi Ritual. Why did you not summon back? Tributed, add, and then special summon. You were properly summoned. We are under the effect of Max C, so we did not want to give them a free draw. Sure. And we want to Exciton Knight the field. This has become immensely prevalent. We're seeing it from Ryzeal. Think about Exciton Knight wiping away their field, their follow-up plays. Let's do it. Oran's going to return back the Arthalion to draw a card here as long as it was not summoned from the graveyard, which it was summoned for the extra, so we do get that draw. Super Poly and Red Reboot. We got some interesting tech options in this deck. Lucius is going to be reborning off of the Pan effect that's rarely used. Let's further wipe away the field again. As we now, under the effect of Max C, let's get a Futsu on the field. Futsu makes it nearly impossible for the opponent to one-turn kill you, as you're going to infinitely reborn from your graveyard per special summon the opponent performs. Now, in addition to that, our disruption is going to be the Prayers or Futsu, reborning the Murakumo to non-target wipe the field of monsters and also force them to discard a card. Double disrupt. Albion is going to send Retribution as we now add back the Branded Fusion that was in Grave. There's now Rahu Dracotail. Pan and Malulu are going to non-target destroy a monster and non-target negate. And it's going to be on the higher chain link that we trigger the Futsu. Whatever we summon, we're not going to be negated by Malulu on the Futsu. But if we try to pan destroy the Futsu, what we summon will protect it from destruction unless it gets negated by the Malulu. So this is kind of interesting on what we're going to do here. We possibly also want to stop the Saji from triggering. So we destroy the Saji with the Pan, and then we have the Malulu. So it looks like, you know, it's a very subtle nuance here, but the chain link order of Malulu and Pan were incorrect. If we switch them around, if the Malulu were on the higher chain link, we could have negated the protection and then destroyed the Futsu. Futsu would not be here, and Saji would be negated. Does that make sense? It's a hard thing to be thinking in the moment of, I think so. Albion Sanctifier is here. Trigger the Arthalians Reborn, further trigger the Ghoul Melts Reborn. This is going to be for 1 turn killing. But the Futsu is not negated. And oh, wait, it is negated. It did get negated. Okay, well, we're in big trouble. Super Poly could be used with the light if we have another light monster, or a fire if we have another fire, but the Sanctifier cannot be used for fusion summon. Ghoul Mel's gonna wipe out the Futsu. We do have prayers. Tribute to trigger to reborn back. Ash is going to negate the effect of reborning back the Murakumo. No non-target field wipe, but the Futsu could reborn back the Murakumo to wipe the field. So a lot of crazy things are happening here. The Pan and Malulu effect of destroying and negating have already been used, and we're chainlink blocking the Futsu from a potential Ghost Spell. Ghost Spell is a relevant card. People are using it. Come back. And now if we special summon against the 3,400 defense, he's going to be reborning the Murakumo. Super Poly with the Futsu. Did I say Futsu was fire? I guess something was wrong in my brain with that. We had easy Super Poly just like that. Lethal damage. He's got fire. He should be a fire monster. What is that? Are you out of your freaking mind? Super Poly dealing with the 3,400D. Let's go. What? What's that? Isn't there like normal summon, Almirage, then Gravity Controller, then summon Maximus, right? That's what you would play if you're playing this. I thought you would. We're not. Nope. Okay. Rahu Dracotail into the max C. No way to stop the C. Last Duel Cup we had to wait a month. Are you sure on that? I don't remember what the heck happened there. Pre-prep ready for next turn. We very much need that for our first turn. Call by the Grave Finger, the Urgula. As we have Kitu, does not have the additional benefit of fusing on resolution, but we are under the effect of max seed. Do we want to force out lethal damage here? Imperm, negate the Lucius by chaining Fate Mana to dodge the impermanence. We're further playing into the max freaking C. Now, it's Super Poly in the battle phase. That could be a really good way to help circumvent another draw for max C and play around them drawing into something that would be relevant within the main phase, like a Nibiru. Arthalion, add back. Lucius, trigger, set up the horn. No lethal damage here. It is lethal. Yes, we do. We have Spellcaster and Dragon. Summon Mysterion. Nothing to block the attack. Got him just like that. Super Poly for game. Not that we use it, but I think it's crazy that the Pan and Urgula are huge. They're like 2,500 plus, so one of them plus the other fusions is lethal damage. Wanted Seeker, try to do this into the draw phase if you can, and there's a duel setting where you could start every duel with the toggle on. It's not something you have to catch right away and go, oh crap, I have a card I want to activate. Let's Deception Sinful. I'd say this is a great Ash. Yup, Ash the Deception Sinful. In fact, when you see White Forest, you could possibly just save the Ash for it as long as they didn't open up with the Field Spell. Field Spell will turn off the use of Deception even being good. We're going to activate Fool Loss and Max freaking C. Are you kidding me? White Forest plays well against Fool Loss, but if you add Max C on top of it, that messes things up. For normal summon Sylvie, Sylvie can search the trap then end if we want to. Done. Now our forms of disruption will be the ability to use Woes to then synchro into the Silvera to flip the opposing field face down, but it's a fusion deck so they can fuse with face down monsters. Gazelle, what the hell, searching for the Chimera fusion. Retaliating C, let's freaking go. Any card sent to the grave is now banished instead. And Woes of the White Forest in the Silvera flip the field face down. This ensures that we get them into the graveyard. I think that was more so why we wanted to do it in this order, to get it out early. And now you're going to... all your cards getting banished. Wow. You know, this is the issue. You wanted to ensure your cards would be sent to the graveyard before Retaliating Sea comes out, but now on their Fusion Summon, they could out your Silvera or out your Retaliating Sea, and then your Silvera for the follow-up of flipping down an opposing card is not going to be as good. We do get to trigger the LZ. We get to non-target flip. And we don't have a way to negate the Chimera, unfortunately. Adding for a follow-up play. Non-target, draw 2, wipe away the Retaliating Sea. Search for Max freaking C. Engraver, come to me. Fiendsmith tracked. We're going to send Chimera to summon Diabell Star before we activate the Max C. It did not activate the special summon. We have Deception Sinful, tributing off the Lacrima, searching for the Hollowed Azamina. Now we hit him with the C. But then we finger the C. Not today. Things are not working out well for Yurievna here. Retaliating Sea was almost very good. It did ensure that a bunch of cards would get banished instead of being sent to the grave. Now, the Necrom is able to special summon a Light Fiend onto the field play, which we already had the Fiendsmith plays otherwise. We're solid going into the deck for the LZ. We're going to be using the effect of the Engraver to reborn back onto the field here. LZ special summon herself out, fusion summon into Moa Regina, which could reborn an illusion monster from Engrave, come back out the LZ. As you turn both bodies into a Chaos Angel on summon, banish away anything. This is with a light and a dark. The Chaos Angel's got its full effects here. Unaffected from activated monster effects, and none of our monsters can be destroyed by battle. We're going to Sylvie return back Silvera, dodging the banishment. Sylvie is negated, so it's not going to be activating in some way here. How do we out the Chaos Angel? Or any synchro that would be protected by the Chaos Angel? Now, it's time to Fiendsmith it up. And, you know, with the Fiendsmith level 1 Lurie, that is when we would, if we still had it, we'd want to Silvera flip it down before it goes into the Requiem here. Damn, lots of plays. Very well done from both of you. Let's keep on going. Retaliating again. Red freaking reboot, which can be used against our White Force trap. We are under the effect of Fua, which we chose to not Ash because the deck plays well under, I would say, against Fua loss. Diabell Star is going to be setting up Deception Sinful. The Vengeance Engrave is rebornable as long as we have a trap. We need a trap in the hand or in the graveyard to banish. Hollowed Azamina, which will give them a draw for the Fua loss here. As we further use the Wanted Seeker, return back Deception into drawing a trap, which we could have chosen to banish to reborn the Vengeance, since this could banish from the hand or graveyard to summon. Now, with the Woes of the White Forest, it could get red rebooted. We have Retaliating Sea, Ash, and Sylvia. Our own Diabell Star is here. Diabell Star setting up to the back row, our Deception Sinful, which is a great use of our Ash, which the crossout designate will negate. Did not Ash Deception because we have Retaliating Sea. See, we don't need to stop the play, which is the best play to enable the Retaliating Sea. Now, if we read the Hollowed Azamina, it has to send it to the graveyard, then special summon the revealed monster. So it will still attempt to send, it will get banished, and no summon for you, because if before then does not happen, you surrender to Retaliating Sea. This was one of the OG reasons to play Retaliating Sea, because of the release of Hollowed Azamina. Let's Engraver for the Tract. Now, Retaliating Sea does not work against Tract in any way whatsoever. Even the effect of Tract to perform a special summon is not the activation of the card, it's part of the effect. And it has to be the activation of a spell card that results in a special summon to then use the Retaliating Sea. We got him under the Max C. Requiem, some for the deck. So whenever you're asking the question of, should I play Fiendsmith? Well, your deck becomes weaker to Maxi and Fua loss, but better against any other hand trap. It can help eat the opponent's Ash to protect your other plays. It could eat an Impermanence to protect your other plays. It could fully play through a Droll and Lockbird. But as I said, the downside is the opponent has 10 freaking cards in their hand now. What are you doing? Skyscorch Norlis? This card's like 20 years old. What the heck? This says that you could pay 1,000 life to send all cards on the field and in both players' hands to the graveyard, then draw one. So back in my day, we would use some, do you remember this, John? We'd use like a Chaos Slime, Phantom of Chaos. This would actually top YCS, as if I'm remembering correctly. It was actually a viable deck. You'd mill your deck like crazy, and then you'd use the Phantom of Chaos, which is not a banned card, right? What is that? Phantom of Chaos, this one. It's a little slime. You'd copy the Norliusan graveyard to get its effect to then send the field and hands to the graveyard to then win the duel. Oh my Jesus. Let's go. I'm not sure if we're actually gonna use it though. It'd be a good way to circumvent all the cards we're adding to their freaking hand here. Okay, Gazelle is going to be adding the Chimera Fusion, which will be resulting in the Retaliating freaking Sea. Any card sent to the grave will be banished instead. Come forth. Wow, Scoops it. What is your combo with this? How do you get it out? What is the play? I need to know. What were you planning on doing? Oh boy, Dracotail versus Dracotail. We're going to speed this up. Let's go. Lucius, Malulu, we have Ghostbell and Femina. What is the play? Malu and you set up the key 2. We want to be careful to not put a body on the field to enable the key 2 to fusion summon possibly. Joel and Lockbird's going to be weak in the mirror match. Bell is definitely the better hand trap here. This is where we would maybe want to try to stop them before they use the Verte Anaconda. Gulamel, Trigger Engrave, the Pan, and Femina. We're just going to wait until the end of the main phase? We're just waiting. Why stop Anaconda when Anaconda says that you can't special summon for the rest of the turn? Let's allow them to summon lock themselves. After locking themselves up, we now make our play. Our Thalion's going to return the Gulamel back to the extra deck, as we also add back the Femina. Pan is going to destroy the Mirror Jade. Urgula is going to destroy the Horn or the Flame or even maybe the Sting. Non-target banish away the Arthalion, sure. As he has engraved now the Rinbrum to Reborn Albaz, which will be a double disruption play. And we did take out the Flame. And then we have Bell to negate the other card if we want to. Bell, since we have 2 of them, Bell can negate adding back the Femina, and the Bell can negate the Rinbrum from Reborning Albaz, which is a double disruption. 1 Bell stopping the fusion and whatever they fuse into. We're gonna just sting it preemptively. We don't even have to use Bell on it. Bell can be used on the Horn or the Sting instead. Now the trap did make us play into a Drone Lockbird, which, I mean, I don't know if people have their duel settings incorrect, but you should have it set to at the start of the duel, you're toggled on, and at the end of your opponent's turn, you get toggled on. So you don't even have to think about it. So every time at the start of your turn, you always are in the draw phase to think about making a play to play around Droll, where we would have drawn a card and then Droll would not be usable. Bell. Negate the Sting, which is, you know, they wouldn't be able to draw, or they're chaining to their Droll and Lockbird here, so they would be able to draw. So no draw for you and no banishment. And let's now Rahu Dracotail under the effect of Droll, no adding from the deck allowed. Let's trigger the Femina and Urgula to non-target wipe away the Horn before Horn is even activatable against an attack position card. Take it out. Let's speed this up. Horn into the back row. Urgula is going to add back the Femina. Show how to set the toggle setting. Okay. After this duel. Secretarion, Malulu, Trigger, set up the key 2. Secretarion is going to be targeting Engrave to Reborn the Pan. Big damage with the Pan. We had to summon Gulamel into defense because of the opposing Horn. 300 life. Special summon spellcasters and dragons are not activatable. Could return back a monster with a Horn. We could flame negate a spell. We could pop a card with the Gulamel. Quadra Disruption. Can the Kraken play through it? We have Gulamel of our own here, which we are attempting to negate a monster, pop a back row, and chain our Gulamel. The Gulamel has now been chain link blocked from popping, thanks to the Horn. And then we're going to chain to our own horn as we're going to draw a card and wipe away the opposing Gulamel. So we used our horn on ourselves. We Gulamel popped. We didn't draw into any relevant hand traps here. We still have the Flame and the Floodgates. Secretarion is now negated. Goodbye to the Flame. We got nothing. Nada. No more disruptions. Okay, Kraken has a real chance at this duel. We're not having them under the effect of a Full Loss or a Max C. There's no more surprises. This is it. I guess a surprise would have been if we had Pan or a Fusion in the graveyard. We got nothing. The Pan is in our hand. Can Kraken win on this turn? Let's go. Our own Pan is going to be wiping away the Secretarion, reborn the Gulamel, add back the Femina, Key 2, chain the Gulamel to wipe away, and just like that, over 10,000 damage. The ability to go second with this deck, or, you know, this wasn't go second, but a follow-up play, board break with Dracotail is nuts. Let's go. What was that? Well, a handful of hand traps. We didn't want to set the Flame because then the Full Loss would not be activatable until we could flame something. Flame also would not draw a card unless we have a Dracotail card in the graveyard. We're going to Ash negate the Key 2. We are desperate. That feels so bad. We ashed such a minimal impact card. It was such a high risk to negate something like a Lucius, which you normally would never want to negate with an Ash or an Impermanence in many cases, especially on their very first turn. But then they follow up with a Branded Fusion, which you used your Ash on something else. Droll and Lockbird now disallowing the further draws of Full Loss, as we could build up as big of a field that we want to then possibly win, but it has to be within 4 summons, because that Nibiru is waiting. So you don't have to toggle off here at the moment because the Nibiru is not going to bother you. But you do want to bait as much as you can here. Set the Flame. Femina is going to be further setting up the Sting. They have 7,800 damage, mate. All we got to do is one more Fusion summon. This is it, our 4th summon, and under the Nibiru we could go in. Do not perform the 5th summon. Lucius set up the Key 2, and just like that, 9,000 damage. Unfortunately, because of Dracotail being the best deck, Nibiru's not good, Droll and Lockbird's not good, but then you want to think of what decks are Droll and Nibiru good against. Like we saw earlier, the rank 1 player was playing Onomat Ryzeal, which loses hard to Droll, but then if people take out Droll, that's why you get to do better with your other deck. And it was a 2-0. Dimension, shift it up into any card sent to the grave is now banished. Deception Sinful is still activatable, but the Holodeck Zamina is not good because it needs to send the card to the grave to even Fusion Summon. The Diablo Star that we would search with the Wanted Seeker has to send the card to the graveyard by cost, thus she is dead. We have Imperm, Negate, the Dormouse. This is a great Impermanence. The Dormouse was also not banished yet, was it? So it's getting banished through the effect of the Dimension Shifter. It was already banished, so we just end on Little Knight. We have Ash and Bell. Bell does not have to be sent to the graveyard. It just says discard the card. Thus, we have our triple disruption. Let's go. Deception with no monster to even tribute to search. And now back to you. What could we even do? Send a Diablo Star monster from your hand to then negate the effect of a card. Well, the Wanted Seeker not just searches from the deck, it could potentially add from the graveyard. Thus, the Bell negates, and we could chain the Deaders to then Fusion Summon out the Saint Azamina. Saint Azamina could further summon a monster from the deck. Now, Saint Azamina is, in a way, a floodgate. Your opponent cannot target cards in their field, their graveyard, their banishment, or this card in the field. So what targets in Malice? Let's do a quick little search on that, on how countered we are. Let's type in Malice for the deck type and the word target. What targets? March Hare, when banished, targets a banished card, can't do it. White Binder, targets card in the graveyard to banish, can't do it. Malice in the Underground, we don't care about that target effect. The Cryptor targets a banished card to return it back to banished card in the field. We can't do it. We can't Splash Mage. We can't even target the monster we link with. We could then non-target banish, that works. We can't Wizard target Engrave to Reborn. So I would say it is quite disruptive against Malice. Let's see how good it is within this match. It also has the additional effect of summoning from the extra deck, but it's also the deck, which Ash is going to negate. No summon for you, mates. White Binder can't target the cards in graveyard. Can target your cards, though. That's fine. As we further set from the deck, our TB11. TB, banish away the White Binder, summon for the deck, the White Rabbit, trigger the White Binder to get Impulse negated. MTP is going to chain banish the White Rabbit to search our deck here. We have already committed to our normal summon. Now, White Rabbit come back. As the White Rabbit further sets from the deck, our GWC. March Hare does not target the card it banishes, but the banish effect of it does. Lingribo further pinning down the Sinful Betrayal. Now, Saint Azamina cannot attempt a special summon for the extra deck. Again, it's only the turn it is summoned. Hollowed Azamina is going to be sending the Silvera. Come forth into Rosala Go. Let's go into our deck, into the Diablo Star Vengeance. Let's now GWC, reborn out the White Binder. How do we summon Vengeance? We have to banish a spell and trap card from the hand or grave. Well, let's banish all the traps in their grave. Or all three. Goodbye. No vengeance for thee. Rosala Go, wipe away the White Binder. Great use of that White Binder. Can't Splash Mage. We can Lizard Dose. Lizard Dose does not target. It's going to non-target banish. As we... Did we try to trigger the March Hare? I think so. March Hare, banish it, add back Dormouse, but that is targeting. Can't do that. As we go into... What does Transcode do? It targets. So we tried to March Hare to no avail. We're trying to Transcode Talker. We can't target. Whoops. Link Decoder does trigger, though. So this is actually okay if we weren't trying to target a card in the graveyard. We still get to go in Access Code Talker, which can't target, so it can't get bigger than Saint Azamina, but we could still non-target banish to wipe away the Saint Azamina, and now we could target our own cards, finally. It was disruptive enough. It was pretty good. Not good enough to win the duel, obviously. Let's further set up the MTP. Non-target banish the Lizard, take out Rosala Go, which does trigger when destroyed to search for a follow-up play. Malice and Underground, Chessy Cat. All right, Hakimo, finish up this duel, mate. It's so interesting that not even Cryptor can non-target banish. Target the banished card. And come back. Lethal damage. All right, game 2. Let's do it. Hollowed Azamina, chaining the Fualas. We have Ash Blossom to negate. Will Druid Swarm be good against Azamina? The new dragons make the card better? Oh yeah? What are the new dragons that are summonable off of it? Rosala Go into the deck for our Wanted Seeker. Let's Deception, tribute off Rosala Go for the Deaders. Hollowed Azamina is going to... We couldn't use the Bestial. There's no monster on the field to banish the Rosala Go before being returned back, thus the Hollowed Azamina would not be added back. You could go spell the Wanted Seeker here, and then it could not be used to be sent to the graveyard. We do have the ability to, whatever we fuse into, possibly being a disruption, we can Omni Negate, we could pop a card, we can negate anything with the Sinful Spoil Betrayal. The Saint Azamina has the Floodgate-like effect of them not being able to target their own cards. It's about 5 forms of Disrupt, one of them being a Floodgate. Allure of Darkness, Dormouse trigger to come back. Do we Sylvia Negate? Does not. Diablo Star Vengeance, wipe away the already banished Dormouse. Now allowing the Triple Tactics talent. We're going to Sylvia negate the Triple Tactics talent. Now, we have Debtor's Betrayal. We gained the additional disruption of the Poplar since we had another Diablo Star in the field, allowing us to summon this to then synchro into a way to push the Druiswarm into the back row. There it is. Vengeance. Push the Druiswarm back. Magnum Hut cannot target his own cards, even though the Dormouse was already banished. March Hare, banishing the Dormouse here for the link this up into a Lingaribo. Can't make a Splash Mage with this, even if you could. It's not able to target your own card to Reborn back. Little Knight cannot target the Saint Azamina. We're going to Betrayal, send the Diablo Star, which could activate to Reborn back. We're going to chain the Debtors to send the Betrayal to the graveyard to further summon out from the extra deck into the ability to send a card in the field to the grave. On Fusion Summon, send the Little Knight away. It is negated. Diablo Star is triggering to send a card on the Resolution, which will be the new Azamina Fusion we summoned out. Activate to set up a follow-up mate, and just like that, defeating Malice. Follow-up, very good. This has effect during the standby phase, right? During the standby, target an Azamina. That's only while it's on the field, though. Okay, 1-1. White Rabbit. Imperm negates. You could toggle off normal summon White Rabbit, and then if they activate a card in the graveyard, I would then hold left click to finger it with my called by. And now to you. It's a 1-12 face up. It's no longer usable. We have an Omni Negate, non-target banish, negate a special summon, banish in the graveyard twice, about 6 forms of disruption, 7 if you want to count the White Binder, further banishing to the opposing graveyard. And we have a Deception tribute off Max C, searching for the Hollowed Azamina here. Hollowed Azamina, negate. With the Impulse Mate, we do have the Debtors. Azamina Debtors could then follow up and get negated by the allied Code Talker Gnister. It was a valiant effort from Army of Me, but apparently Mouse can play right through Imperm and Impulse like nothing. Damn. Prayers into our Habakiri here. 7 Tachyeon into the Ice. Let's return back to Retaliating. We don't need that. Ice gonna summon. So what I believe Daredevil tried to do was eat the Ash. Ashable effect, Ashable effect, Ashable effect, and now the real effect to Ash. Dracotail is going to be further detaching to go into a Harbinger. Ready to negate a spell. Does it negate the activation? When a spell's activated, negate the effect. So really good against Dracotail, ensuring that another Key 2 or Rahu would not be activatable. We also have the Prayers to Reborn to wipe away the field. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 disruptions plus a Maxi. There's our Maxi late to the party, but it could be used in response to them trying to reborn the Murakumo at least. 7th Tachyeon is going to get eaten by the Harbinger. Suck it up. Harbinger sucking up the Mitsurugi Ritual is also insane, as it would then not be add-backable with the Kusanagi. Bakiri into the Saji. Activate. Ash negate. That's the huge choke point. You Ash the Saji. Now, we still have Prayers, wipe away the field, and force them to discard a card. Do we want to Maxi within the end phase? I don't think so. Reborn, wipe away the field, open field 7,900 damage. We can normal summon Retaliating Sea for game. This is it. Do it. Normal to Sea. Droll's at 0 freaking attack. 7 Tachyeon, adding an Ice Ryzeal, return back the Habakiri, normal Ice, special summon for the deck, as we're now going to force them to discard a card, as they happily discard away the Habakiri. Ice Ryzeal setting up the Ryzeal Cross. Cross, as we're now, even under the effect of Maxi, going to go into the duo to ensure the Cross can negate anything. 11,000 plus damage. Bro, real? Wait. Was this summoned off a prayer so it could not attack directly? Because that's forever afflicting it. Ash, Negate, Murakuma, Reborn back. Could it not attack directly? How was that Murakuma on the field? Why were we trolling? We can negate that with the Raziel Cross. When did it get summoned? It did. It was summoned off of the prayers during the opponent's end phase, wasn't it? Yeah. Activate, both effects, special summon, so it just couldn't even attack directly. Wasn't trolling, just couldn't even attack. Yeah, it couldn't attack. Now in TCG, no one would even remember that. They would just, you'd probably just surrender before even attacks. 7th, Tachyeon, come to me, X Raziel. We are ready with the Fua, Imperm, and Ash. We're gonna hit him with the Fua early as he grabs the Node Raziel, special out the sword, searching for the ice. Ice summon from the deck, give them that one draw spell. Whoa, what the heck, a 5 material Raziel detonator? What if they have a single impermanence to negate? That'd be crazy. Grabbing an Eclipse Twins? Well, we have Eclipse Twins to play around the impermanence now. But then we could finger the detonator or the Eclipse Twins. 6 material detonate. You need 2 cards to beat this. It's a 2-card combo. You need an imperm and a finger, and it's done. Oh, imperm? Bro did not even try. Wait, it only plays around imperm if you have another rank 4 Xyz in the grave, do we? We don't. Okay, so actually just a single imperm. Was it that Ben Baller made a mistake? It's because we were under Fua loss, so we had to suboptimally make a different play, unfortunately. As the cross is still a monster negate onto the aggregator on the higher chain link with the X Raziel, so it was forcibly going to be negated, or we negate the negate. Detaching off the X Raziel. Let's speed this up. How's Eclipse Twin work? Eclipse Twin is going to target 2 other rank 4s. So if you pop yourself, you have Eclipse Twin and Detonator, it can target the Detonator, but then it looks for another rank 4 Xyz. No other rank 4 Xyz is there, thus it then doesn't work. So I think what you might be confused by is sometimes people have 2 Eclipse Twins, where one Eclipse Twin could target the other Eclipse Twin plus the other monster, and then it could reborn back with the other Eclipse Twin. And the other 2 rank 4s, only one of them has to be properly summoned. So a properly summoned rank 4 and then just a rank 4, but they have to be other. We are fully negated. We can't even Destruction Protect. Maxi at 3 says, G-Suns, are you out of your mind? Wipe the fields. And then Eclipse Twins checks for 2 rank 4s that are not itself. Doesn't exist. Lethal damage. He got Fua. That's it. Fua. And if he didn't have impermanence, that is the only chance we had. Let's go. Thank you, YouTube, for watching the top 16. We'll now be advancing to the top 8 grand finale and top deck. That's where we start this off with Azza, Mina, White Forest, I believe. Yup. Let's get to it. Let's do it. I'll see you there.